firstborn daughter of the mysterious John Warren Ragland and Rosetta Tennessee Ragland, is Lucretia Ragland. She was born on February 26 in the year 1900 in the state of Kansas. According to the 1900 census, her home in 1900 was in Garfield, Morris County, Kansas. By the time of the 1910 federal census, Lucretia had 3 younger siblings, Ophelia, John W. Ragland Jr., and Octavia. And on the 1920 federal census, when Lucretia was 18 years old, there were 2 more siblings added to her family, Sylvester and Rosetta Marie. Lucretia married Rueben Crawford Hayes sometime between 1920 and 1930. According to the 1930 federal census, their home at the time in Agnes, Lyon, Kansas, and she was 30 years old. This census records Rueben and Lucretia as having 4 children at that time. Therefore, it could be calculated that she could have been married between 1920 and 1924. This calculation is based on the idea that typically, women did not have children until they were married, back in this era. Her first child, Rosetta V. Hayes, was 6 years old at the time. Rosetta was born in 1924, and Lucretia did not have any children in the previous census of 1920. This validates the timing of the birth of Rosetta taking place during the 1920s. Rueben and Lucretia are also recorded as having 2 more children at the time of the 1920 census: Junior, George, and William. The 1940 census records them as having 3 more children during the 1940s: Floyd, Alan, and Viola. A total of 7 children between 1920 and 1950. Lucretia's husband Rueben Crawford Hayes was born on March 30, 1893, in Warsaw, Harrison County, Mississippi. His 1900 census records him being at the tender age of 7. His father's name was Crawford Taylor, and his mother's name is Mary but was affectionately called Molly. Crawford and Molly had 11 children between 1885 and 1908. Samuel, Betty Jasper, Rueben, Fred, Floyd, Athenia, Duriel, Arthur, Robert, and Lottie. The third son born to Crawford and Molly was Rueben Crawford, who was born with the surname Hayes. You see, Crawford Taylor changed his name to William Hayes sometime between the years 1870 and 1900. When Crawford Taylor, now known as William Hayes, changed his name, it marked the end of the Taylor name for his family branch, and the beginning of the new Hayes family branch. However, the Hayes branch is still connected to the Taylor branch genetically. The father of William Hayes, who was formerly known as Crawford Taylor, is Franklin Taylor, who was born on April 16, 1831, in North Carolina. The 1870 census records that he was married to Susanna Crawford. At the time of the 1870 census, they had 10 children: Sarah, Alice, Shedrick, Julia, Horace, Crawford, Hannah, Harriet, Samuel, and Shepard. Although Franklin was born in North Carolina, his home in 1870 was in Chickasaw Indian Territory, in Mississippi. We believe that this is where he met his wife Susanna. Susanna Crawford was born around the year 1834, in the state of Virginia, according to her 1870 census. She is the daughter of Albert Deer Tallior, who was a slave that was owned by a Chickasaw Indian, who went by the name Bubby Love. Albert's wife Nellie Crawford was also owned by Bubby Love. As a matter of fact, 8 out of the 10 children that they raised were owned by Bubby Love. Nellie Crawford was born in the year 1818 in Chickasaw Indian Territory, in Mississippi. She got her Crawford name from her father, Samuel Crawford, who was owned by a Chickasaw Indian who went by the name Tucker Cole, and Samuel Crawford's wife Dilsey Daubry was born in 1798 in Chickasaw Nation, Alabama. She was also owned by a Chickasaw Indian who went by the name Nulter Daubry. Her daughter, Nellie Crawford, is the great-grandmother of Rueben Crawford Hayes. Nellie is recorded as making an application to become a freedman citizen of the Chickasaw Tribe of Indians located in Oklahoma. Her Chickasaw roll number is 2066, and her card number is 505. She was 80 years old when her application was accepted by the Dawes Commission. Nellie's mother and father, Sam Crawford and Dilsey Crawford, are recorded as Nellie's parents on her census card, which identifies her and her children as freedmen of the Chickasaw Tribe of Indians. All the descendants of Rueben Crawford Hayes and Lucretia Viola Hayes are descendants of the freedmen of the Chickasaw tribe. Crawford Taylor, who changed his name to William M. Hayes, and his mother Susanna Crawford of Virginia, are the connection to the 5 tribes. The surname Taylor is on both the maternal branch and the paternal branch of Crawford Taylor aka William Hayes. Crawford's father, Franklin, also known as Frank, carries the surname Taylor. However, Crawford's mother Susanna's maiden surname is Crawford. Susanna's father also carries the surname Taylor. But the Crawford name comes from Susanna's mother, Nellie. She is the daughter of Samuel Crawford, and he is also known as Sam Crawford. Susanna's parents were owned by one, Bubby Love, and so the surname Love is also attached to their records. It does sound a bit confusing, doesn't it? It is for this reason that the Black Ancestry Network group is going to do part 2 on the Hayes surname, and its connection to the Taylor and Crawford surnames. In part 2 we are going to go into the records of the Dawes Commission concerning Susanna and her mother Nellie and her father, Albert, and also her grandparents on her mother's side, Samuel Crawford and Dilsey Dabray. If needed, there will be a part 3 of this series involving Crawford Taylor's paternal lineage. We will be tracing Crawford's father Franklin Taylor into North Carolina, and find out how and when Franklin found himself in Mississippi. We will also take a good look into his grandfather Joshua Taylor, who was born in 1791. Currently, it appears that there are 2 Joshua Taylors, both living in Rutherford, North Carolina. We believe that they are the slave owner and the slave. This particular branch of the Hayes, once called the Taylor lineage, appears to be just the kind of history that needs to be unraveled. We here at the Black Ancestry Network Group are excited, and we are eager to make the attempt to do so. The president and owner of the Bang would like to ask the descendants of Rueben Crawford Hayes, and any Taylors that have a belief that they are a part of the Hayes-Taylor connection, to join us at the Black Ancestry Network Group located at myheritage.com. There you will be able to create your free account and request to be a member, or simply email the Black Ancestry Network Group at gmail.com, asking to become a member. You can also subscribe to the Black Ancestry Network Group on YouTube, and in the comments section of any of the videos uploaded, just write that you would like to become a member. Let's not forget the Black Ancestry Network Group on Facebook.